myself some screen capturing software. I did test, worked fine. Did a whole 25-minute live stream, and it never posted to the page. I don't feel like figuring this out right now. And I don't want to start drinking because it's too early in the morning. And also, I quit drinking this year. So I'm just going to do this the old fashioned way and try to figure this out for tomorrow. Just wanted to let you know that I did make an effort. I downloaded software and everything. So now just a little follow up to yesterday. So got a couple of messages about domain names. Now, let me just say, someone's like, hey, I'm trying to buy a domain name and it's, the .com is $1,800. Okay, don't do that, obviously. She didn't. She wasn't going to. But, if you're going to pick a domain, you try to get a .com. You can also like rethink your it doesn't have to be yourbusiness.com. It can be like try your business or join. So like Honey, the coupon app I shared yesterday, it's joinhoney.com. So you'll see that people are getting a little creative with that, or you can use a .net or something like that. Now, I have opinions about other extensions, but the new ones, like the .pizza and the like weird, stuff. Here's the thing that I think about those. They're kind of like when my friend Allie tried to single-handedly bring back the banana clip a few years ago. So if you do not know what a banana clip is because you are not old enough, please Google it. It is an amazing hair accessory. So she was like, you know what? I'm just going to make the banana clip happen. And now most people, when they saw her rocking the banana clip, understood. And a few people, though, were like, what? And that's kind of what it's going to be like with using a pizza or land or realtor extension. Okay. People don't get, mostly older people probably aren't going to get them. And you're going to be constantly explaining to people that it's not .com. So I think, in a few years from now, we'll all be able to use those fun new extensions. And they're indefinitely, the domain registrars are definitely trying to make those happen, like my friend Allie was with the banana clip, but they're not really happening yet. I'm just going to make the judgment call for you. So try to get a .com or .net. If you're doing a software application or something, you can go .io, and I'm not going to judge you too hard. If you're .biz, you might be a little bit of a D-bag. There's definitely like feelings of some of these extensions, but by the way, if you have a .biz and you're watching this, I'm sorry. I'm sure you're a very nice person. So anyway, today, I don't know about you guys, but I set everything up yesterday, and kind of the limiting reagent of my yesterday is that my bank is like, oh, we're going to be able to add this to your online banking in 2 to 3 days. Now, I could have called them and gotten the bank account number, but I'm just going to wait for it to magically appear in my online banking. So today, what I thought we would do is a little bit of branding work. Now, again, if you've worked with an actual branding person, this is like a super simplified version of that process, okay? So, like, if you're a branding person watching this, like, don't be horrified. We are basically hairdressers trying to teach people how to cut their own hair. It's not going to look like the way you did it. It's not going to be completely 100% amazing. It's going to be what's called good enough. And that's where we're at right now. It's good enough. And there is nothing wrong with that, guys. There's nothing wrong with good enough. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to open a free account at canva.com. If you want to do this on PicMonkey, if you want to do this in some other software that is like this, feel free. I'm not here to judge your tools. Like I said, we're here to have a process. The very first thing that you're going to do is you're going to get into the free version of Canva. Now, what you'll notice is there's a little Try Canva Pro button. And there are a couple of times during this presentation where I will point out to you what we would get with Pro. If you wanted to turn on the trial right now for the Pro version, you could, because I think you get it for about 14 days, and we're going to be kind of creating some assets in here. And if you want to just kind of see if you like it, feel free. If you, again, I'm going to show you how to do everything without paying for anything. But I will point out times in which it's going to save you a little bit of time. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to just see what they've got for logos. By the way, I already have some of this stuff on my computer because, as mentioned, I previously recorded this for half an hour by myself, apparently. So we have some suggested logos here that people have designed. Now, I'm just going to tell you, if you think it's as simple as opening up this and just typing your business name and pressing save, we want to change this like a little bit. These are templates that literally millions of people are starting with. So we want to make it look like you put in a little bit of effort. So what I did is I went ahead and picked this one. Again, up to you. It is your thing. And now what you'll notice here is that there's a background, they're giving us something to work with. So let's, if you remember, I am doing a website that sells a bunch of French stuff. So I'll like one of your French girls. And what you'll notice, obviously, is that my text is way longer than theirs, and it doesn't quite fit in there well. So as you see, the element I have selected, it has a little box around it. And that means that I can, I'm editing that particular element right now. And if we look in the upper kind of toolbar area, we see that, oh, I'm editing text. So we have things that, text editing, so we have a font, we have a font size, we have a font color, that kind of thing. So what I'm going to do is let's try making this smaller. All right, I'm going to get rid of this thing, by the way, entirely. I'm just going to get rid of that entire element. Oh, I just made it really small. Hold on. Now, as you see here, let me just zoom in a lot. Delete, there we go. And now let me zoom back out to an actual size that I can handle. Okay, maybe 75%. All right. So, I might want to align this. Okay, sure. Is that a perfectly serviceable logo? Absolutely. If you want to spend like 20 more minutes messing around with this, am I going to stop you? No. Okay, so I'm pushing my luck a little by making it a little bigger. Let's try. Okay. Now let's say I wanted this to be a little bit closer, I want this to be a little bit closer together. Let's see here. So as you see, there's like kind of it's like a little opening almost. Let's just, all right. And what's cool about Canva is when you move something, it does these little guidelines to let you know when stuff is centered, which is kind of nice. Here we go. All right. There's my logo. Now let me name it something not mustard black minimalist Etsy shop icon. Let me name this like one of your French girls logo. Rufigi square logo. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to download this onto my computer. Okay. So I've downloaded it onto my computer. Now, a couple of things that actually I meant to show you as I was downloading it, what you'll notice is that there's a little box that I can't tick off that says transparent background. Now, like, let's say that I wanted to overlay this, the text and the little kind of golden box. Let's say I wanted to overlay that over a picture I was uploading to Instagram. What it's going to, right now, the background color is kind of a white color. But if I wanted to make it transparent, I would need the pro version of Canva. Now, I've thought about you guys. You don't need the pro version of Canva. What you can do is you can use a tool that I'm going to show you in a second. So this, as you see, is the square version of the logo. The other kind of version we want to have of a logo is more of a rectangle. So with this logo, maybe it doesn't change a lot, the difference between the square and the rectangle, but if we, I'm just gonna, nope, hold on. Yeah, I'm just gonna open up this one right here, okay. Now, as you see here, like if I was gonna try to make this logo a rectangle, it would be kind of weird, right? What I might wanna do is I might wanna move the text over to the side or something like that, or I might want to rework this slightly differently. This is definitely a very square looking logo. But I just want to point out that, some of you might need some reworking if you're going to make a square version of the logo. So now you might say, or the rectangular version of a square logo. Now you might say, Nicole, why am I making two versions of the same logo? Well, the square version of the logo is something you can put like as your social media icon or in places that square things go. Your rectangle might be something that, is a little bit more like your website header, or if you were going to print, letterhead, you would put maybe that as your letterhead. It's good to have two a square and a rectangular version of your logo, because in some instances, one's going to definitely work better than the other. Now, the other thing that about Pro Canva that would make this way easier is that I can actually, if I had the Pro version, I could just resize this into a rectangular version and just save it. But what I have to do now is I have to basically make a new design that's a rectangle. So what I'm going to do is just pick a design that I know is something that's a rectangle. Facebook cover is a vaguely rectangular image. So I'm going to start with a blank one. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload that logo that Luffy square logo, and I'm going to overlay it here. You'll see my old version there. All right, so I actually kind of like this one better. Now, what you'll notice is when I moved this over, it's not the exact same shade of white as the background. So this is kind of like where you want the transparent PNG situation. But right now, just to make if you want, there are two ways to deal with this. Number one is we can figure out what this shade of white is and make the background the same shade of white. Now, something, if you're a Google Chrome user, that you might want to install that's just kind of handy to have is a little color picker. So I'm going to just pick that little color. And I am going to, the background is selected. I'm going to click on the little color thing. I'm going to add a new color. Oh, that was a previous pink color I selected in another version of reality of this video. So let me just, oh, F7, 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 white smoke. Okay, so this white color is called white smoke. So let's just add that. There we go. Now, as you see, suddenly that looks way better. It looks like we did it on purpose. So I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger. Okay, it's starting to get a little blurry, but maybe when you make the logo, is it centered? I'm just trying to figure out if it's centered. Oh, I'm trying to center it to the very center of the page. Okay. You know what? We're going to call this good enough because I'm trying to make a 20-minute video here. So we are going to save like one of your French girls. Rectangular. And then we're going to download it. Now, I know you're worried. You're like, Nicole, how are we going to make it a transparent background color? Well, what's beautiful about the internet is someone has figured this out. This is remove.bg. It removes backgrounds. It's lovely. So let's start with our square. There we go. Now, you know, this works for something that is kind of crisp, right? Something that so if you have a little bit more of a complicated logo, this might not work as planned. And let me just show you the example here from the thing that we just looked at a while ago. Now, as you see, it took out the little liney thing, you know, so it took out some of like the interesting part of this logo, but it's got kind of the essential down. Hold on, let me go back and upload my actual one. But I just wanted to let you know, I didn't want you to design this super detailed thing and then have it not export the way you wanted. Just kind of warning you that might happen. You know me, I like to kill your dreams. So, all right, so now we have a little so what we're going to do is we're going to download it. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing with our rectangular logo. And we probably want to hold on. I'll rename those in a second. Ta-da, download. All right, we've got a logo, you know, with a transparent background in both a square and rectangular version. And then we have a background color, obviously, because if you try to upload something with a transparent background, like onto Facebook, it like acts annoying, or it'll look like this checkered thing. So you want to actually like put this on top of something. We'll get into that later, but right now we're building assets. We're using time every day to kind of keep chipping away at this little project. So, all right, so you've opened up in a canva.com account, you've made a rectangle and a square version of your logo, and you have deleted the background so that we can use it later on in web design and email templates and social media images and other kinds of uses. Okay, now there's a couple of other parts of branding as well that are a little bit squishier. But before I go into that, you might say, Nicole, I'm not a cool hipster. I, don't want just writing or just writing in some little thing. I want something a little bit more fancy. Maybe I want to take a picture and, maybe I want, say, a picture of a French bulldog and I'm going to put a beret on them. Feel free to do that. I will say, though, and I will say this about all the things, is that please either use a royalty-free website like pexels.com. By the way, some people like pixabay.com. I'm more of a Pexels girl myself. So it's not to the point where we're like, we're gangs who fight each other, but like there's definitely a preference out there. So whatever person you are is fine. So what I did is I picked this little picture of the French bulldog. Now, the problem, of course, is if I put a little beret on him, this is the background of somebody's house, and that's not really like Brandy. Brand E, not like Brandy, my dog. So what I can do, if I want to, is I can use my friend remove.bg and I can strip down my French bulldog friend to the essential elements. I can crop it. I can put a beret on him. Like I said, you can spend as much or as little time on this as you want. Basically, the idea of the logo is that if someone like sees your Facebook ad and then goes to your website and subscribes to your email newsletter, that everything kind of goes together so you look like a business that has their life together. Now, you might not feel like you have your life together, but a brand will definitely make you seem like you have your life together a little bit more. So obviously, besides a logo, we're going to want some colors and we're going to want some fonts. So first of all, there are tons of websites out there that will give you color palette ideas. The one that I typically send people to is this Design Seeds, and I always forget what the .com is. Design-seeds.com. And what it does is it like gives you some like color palettes of things, and you can, I don't know, what you're gonna want in terms. You might be like, Nicole, like I don't get what I'm looking for. I get that I need some colors, but like, how do I know what colors to pick? First of all, don't pick any colors you hate, obviously. Second of all, let's take a look at their little menu here. Now, what you'll notice is there's kind of like two neutral colors. There's kind of like two darker colors, and then there's two kind of like brighter colors. I think that's like a good place to start because obviously you're going to use maybe neutral colors for backgrounds and things like that. You might use bold colors for like headlines or cool borders around things or something like that. And you might use really bright colors for things like links or buttons you want people to click on. What you want is kind of a mixture of types of colors that all go together. So, unlike, there's some people and they're like, oh, I'm going to get the pearl earrings and the pearl necklace and the pearl bracelet and the whatever. Instead of like something that entirely matches, we want something that goes, if that makes sense. Now, if you're thinking, okay, now if we want by collections, I don't know what these things mean. What I like to do is you can just like look around on this and get some ideas. Or if you want, you can just literally go into Google Images and just say like, hold on, color palette, pizza, hold on, color. I always spell palette wrong. So let's say I run a pizza restaurant and I'm looking for a color palette. Guess what? If we just go into Google Images, here are like some suggested type of color palettes if you want to use pizza as your inspiration. So what you're going to do is, as you see here, when you're looking at these color palettes, and I'm just picking one, what you'll notice is that each color, there's a color and then there's what's called a hex code. So the hex code is what I did a second ago when I was trying to figure out the background of my logo. The hex code is what you're going to put into whatever, your email marketing software, your website software, whatever, and it's going to pick that exact shade the same way. So what you want, like I said, is, I think 5 colors is a good thing to shoot for that kind of go together. I get that this is like kind of 2 sets of 5 colors. And you could decide to change your mind later, but at least like starting from a place of colors you don't hate is something that you'll want to. So what I recommend doing, and I'm not going to redo it because it'll kill my soul, is I started making, and I threw this in Canva, but put this wherever you put your notes. Like, so if you want to, I just made like a blank rectangle, by the way. I just said like make a rectangle and then with a white background, and I opened this up. So like, let's say that oh, where's our pizza one? Oh, there we go. So let's say that I kind of like this. I don't know. It's like a gray color or something. Let me go. I'm going to pick a color from a web page. It's going to time out. Okay. Oh, that's like more black than I expected. Okay. That is black. Weird. It doesn't look. All right. I'm not going to worry too much about this. So I'm going to take this shade of black. By the way, all black is like 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Like it's 6 zeros. So I know that this is black with something in it. So what I'm going to do is say, okay, that's part of my brand. So let me go back to my, I'm going to just, the reason that people put, I'm going to put a little rectangle here. Obviously it's the wrong color, but I'll change that in a second. Oh, come on. I can't believe I recorded a whole video and then it just deleted. Just freaking kills my soul. All right. Okay, I could have made this more square. All right, so come on. I'm looking for, I just want to move this. Okay. Now I'm going to change this color, new color. I'm going to put in my little black hex code in here. Okay, fine. It's not going to save it. This is the other cool thing about a color picker is you can go back and you can reference colors that you've just picked. And the name of the color is black. So I'm just going to, I said, if you're more of an Evernote kind of person or whatever, I just like to put a little swatch of it so I remember what the color looks like. I get that I'll probably remember what black looks like, but maybe some of these other ones, not really. And I probably want, the other thing that some people do is they'll take a color and they'll kind of do, they'll kind of make it like a little bit, so this is the full on version of color and this is like the lighter version of the color. So now let's see what that one is called. Ooh, dim gray. Ooh, I like 7373. It's like my little misty smoke one was something. Let's see here. Wait, what was it called? I just like the names of things too. Dim gray. All right. Dim Nicole for not saving her recording. Oh, painful. All right, I will eventually get over it. So, yeah, so like I said, sometimes people will pick a color and then do a slightly less saturated version of the color. Sometimes we just don't want different shades of black. I mean, maybe we do. I don't know. It's your website. You can do whatever you want. But yeah. So now we have like a set of colors to work with for our brand. So we've got our logo, we've got our brand colors. And like I said, I probably want at least one bright color in this mix, by the way. So I'm just maybe I'll do a hot pink. Oops. I have the text selected, so it made the text hot pink. All right, so I think I want elements. Now, like I said, you might, if you're not used to using Canva, you're gonna like get to understand where the controls are as you're doing this. But all right, so I want nope. It's so funny how you're like, oh, I'm just gonna pick a pink, and the second that you see the wrong one, you're like, no. And I can drag this around. I don't know. No, I want something more pinky. There we go. Okay. I'm gonna stop being an obsessive. All right, so these are my 5 brand colors. And what is this one called? Because I'm just dying to know. Dying. All right, come on. Hot pink. Yeah. All right. So there, I got my 5 brand colors. Now, logo, 5 brand colors. The next thing I want is I need a couple of fonts to work with. Now, what we want to do is we want to pick 2 fonts. So I hate it when I look at stuff. So I just, so first of all, if you have no idea and you don't really care about fonts, you can look up like a feeling that you want people to have when they think of your brand. So maybe you want people to feel like warm or like they trust you or that you're fun or playful or whatever. There are people who have like come up with that. Now, just to kind of give you an idea of kind of how fonts work, typically there's what's called a headline font, and then there is what's called a body font. So your headline font is going to be, obviously larger, and your body font is going to be smaller. And you want these 2 fonts to kind of go together. And so what people have done is they've written blog posts and are like, oh, here are like fonts that go together. And it's typically a serif and what's called a sans serif font. And that these 2 kind of, well, like one's a little bit more kind of formal looking. It has the little feet on it. So it has like the little, almost like it comes from a typewriter. And then sans serif doesn't have those little feet. So, all right. So there's Adrienne and then there's Gibson, and then it's showing like, oh, instead if we make Gibson the headline font and Adrienne the body font, that's what it looks like. So it's kind of showing you what different fonts look like together. Now, what I do just ask of you is that if you're going to pick fonts, make sure that they're Google fonts. So Google fonts are free to use and they're web friendly and there is all kinds of them. So let's just see, like, let's pretend that I like Gibson. Let's check if Gibson is a, okay, there we go. Gibson is there. Oh, no matches. Okay, so let's say I really liked Gibson, but it's not a Google font. Guess what? Fonts, Google font, like Gibson. There we go. God bless the internet. So you're going to find 2 fonts. You're going to find a headline font and you're going to find a body font. And again, we're just making these decisions so that when we create materials that they all kind of go together. If you want to change this a month from now, you're welcome to. We're just picking them for now. So your assignment, make a Canva account, make your logos, make your, pick your 5 colors and get their hex codes and pick a headline and a body font. Ideally that go together and definitely that are at least a Google font so that we can work with them. All right, I hope that's enough to do. I hope that was less than 20 minutes because the idea of doing this a 3rd time, I won't lie, it's not something I'm looking forward to. So this will go on the website momentarily and with a full checklist on it. If you have any questions, please leave a comment on the video, message me, or leave a comment on the website. I don't know. I'll see it somewhere. And looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. And good luck with day 2 stuff.